high, which is 1080p.
Yeah.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna get Instagram.
Awesome. How's it going, everybody? As you know, I am Josh from Dark Horse Tackle. Zach is currently blacked out. We've got a great show.
But I'm still here.
You are still here. We've got a very special guest.
Hello.
Designed a very interesting, unique-looking, very, very neat bait. All around neat bait. Would you call it neat? What would you call it? I like neat.
Neat feels a little small.
It is small
to me. I feel like we need a better word than neat.
Okay.
We'll ask. You know what? Let's we're gonna get Ryan Parker right in here because
Let's bring him. He's integral. I got him. I'm dragging him in. Ryan, get in here.
There he is.
I'm reeling him in. I made the cast with my right hand. I'm reeling him in with my right hand.
I got a picture of him right here. Look at that.
That's me.
What's going on, Todd? What's going on, Michael? How you doing, Stone Man? Very glad to see Stone Man here before 9:30.
Yeah, we're gonna spill the beans today.
Yes,
we're spilling it
on this
because I can't hold it in any longer.
The anniversary box from Dark Horse Tackle, our River and Creek box.
Let's open it up real quick and talk about the guest. Grab the bait, unpackage the bait, but also keep the packaging because the packaging's cool.
Because I gotta sell this stuff.
Exactly. Let's go. Vanna White.
We got obviously we got our card here. One thing I would like to point out is this right here. You guys, if you like some aquatic art, I definitely suggest you scan this QR code. This is Cheryl Bentley. She's the one that did the art. That's actually a painting she did, and then she did a small painting of Ryan, and we put it all together.
Yes.
But follow this and go check out her stuff. You can get prints of it. It's really cool. It actually is really, really cool. Like it's stuff that, you know, if you like aquatic, you probably would like to have up in your house.
Enjoyers.
Now let's get to the baits.
Yes.
Ryan, what do you want?
Dude,
we gotta talk about the guests. We gotta talk about the guests.
Oh, we're just gonna go there?
Yeah.
We'll go here.
Yeah,
the bug.
The bug.
Tonight,
the bluegrass bug. I get to say the whole name now.
Josh, why don't you put that banner up while I'm Vanna Whiting?
We have got John Dalton.
We got John Dalton, Creek Fishing Adventures, who worked with Mule to create the bluegrass bug.
Yes.
We got that in the box.
A cool bait, like very unique. I've been playing around with it. These guys know because I kept texting them, like, look what this does all winter long.
I've actually had to mute Ryan once or twice.
Probably true.
Not you specifically, just our group chat. I'm like, come on, guys.
I got to get work done today. I understand. No, I've been playing around with that bait and like messaging back and forth with John like this winter of like, have you rigged it this way? Have you tried it this way? And I think I even maybe taught him some stuff about it.
So do we want to hurry up and just rip through the baits in this box and then get on with the show?
I say we rip through it.
Okay.
We get John on here. Let's say by 8:15. Let's give ourselves. Let's have some structure.
Sure.
10 minutes. Yeah. All right. What's next, Ryan?
Yeah.
Let's do the swim jig combo.
Okay. We've got
swim jig bitters.
A Brazalo swim jig.
Boom.
Okay. And then something, to be honest with you guys, was a little scary for me when Ryan said what he wanted. It was a little scary for me, but we're going to let him explain how you're going to put this big swim bait.
What a cool color.
On this swim jig and what's going to happen.
What a cool color.
That's a 5.5 inch big bitters. And what you want here is that fat body and that tail. So how I typically rig them, I bite it off at the eyeballs. So I don't know, that's about half, 3/4 of an inch. And you thread that on. Specifically why I chose the Brazalo swim jigs. If you know everything Brazalo, Danny doesn't skimp on hooks. There's there's 5/0 hooks on all these.
There's
things.
nothing finesse about this swim jig.
Yeah. So they accommodate this bait very well, and I promise you, you get a ton of body roll out of the whole thing. It's constantly pulsing the skirt. We've talked about this in the past, but it gives you a lot of secondary action. And your creek fish, your river fish will eat this thing. I promise you that.
Watch that.
It may seem too big, but think about even the small creeks you fish. You've caught 5-6 inch creek chubs in there, I'm sure.
Yep.
That's
all right.
They'll
Next.
eat them. Let's go perfect pairing.
Perfect pairing.
That was
Bear, 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 bear.
Well, there are multiple perfect pairings in this box. All right. The Bass Dope Pillhead and Big Joshy Goby. I think the goby especially is quite an overlooked bait. It represents darters, mad toms, a whole bunch of other stuff that's kind of goby shaped that's not a goby. And if you have rainbow darters in your system, that electric oil color in the goby is dynamite.
Now, not only did Ryan pick the baits in the box, but he also told me which colors to pair with which things.
And this is coming straight out of my tackle box, right out of my arsenal of baits, the way I pair a lot of these things. I think the one exception is, and maybe I did it, I don't even remember at this point. I paired a lot this
is gorgeous. This is the Ohio Special Goby, and the Blue Zen Pillhead.
Blue Zen. That Mongo's Minnow color. It's kind of a spot remover type color, but that and the straight black, we talked about it a couple weeks ago. It's a very good dirty water color.
We're down to 2.
Ooh. All right.
By the way, we've already went through 5 baits. There are 7 baits in this box.
7 baits in this box. We loaded it.
Yes.
I found a way.
This box, really, Zach, we just gave Ryan the reins.
Yes, we did.
We really...
No, we kind of said we wanted to be... Well, I mean,
Parker
he did win Kayak Adventure Series Angler of the Year 2024 and won the team tournament up in Minnesota.
But he was already using the box in Minnesota. He had picked the box that he decided to win with.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So...
I've been fishing this stuff for years, and very very specific stuff in this box has been in my box for years.
So what we got next, bud?
Let's save the crawl for last because I think it needs more explanation.
Okay.
Because it's interesting.
So a little bit of package noise here.
There you go.
Yes.
From Stone Man, hand painted by Stone Man.
And let's talk about colors. What you're not going to find is a bait fish pattern.
Correct.
Yeah, all 5 patterns are crossed.
We've never done that.
Your river fish love their crawdads. They gorge on them. They're an absolute staple. And if you look at the crankbaits I have with me, I usually don't have a ton of them. I usually have 3, maybe 4 on the river. Every single one is a crawl pattern. Every single one. So
this one, by the way, is called Sand Flea. Stone Man is one of my favorite guys. He's one of my favorite painters because a lot of our painters will be like, all right, what are the names of the colors? They're like, Stone Man's all about it. He's all about it. I'll suggest one. He's like, no. These are the names. I love it. I love it.
All right. Continuing on with the crawls, we have a returning maker. I think it's been a while. Yeah.
It's been a while.
Interceptor.
Since
yeah.
We had old Joey Driver in the driver's seat.
Kind of excited about this one, especially if I think a lot of us started with drifting flukes and things like that in the current. If you notice up by Zach's gnarly fingers up there,
I'm trying to cover it, bro.
There's something interesting going on here, and it adds a lot of glide to this bait.
It's a flying squirrel.
Yes.
It is.
That's
it adds
actually
lot
a
of
bait made by
glide.
Big Bite. Look it up.
You're not wrong.
What, the flying squirrel?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I know this is definitely a Joey driver.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but it
And
glides.
we got
in
him
the
to
current.
make the
It's
dark horse
pretty dope.
color, ladies and gentlemen.
The dark horse color looks excellent.
I recommend throwing those on a belly weighted hook, light
Ooh.
belly weight.
Does it smell like bubble gum?
Yeah, no, it doesn't. It is not the banana scent. It is not his
No?
banana scent. No, it is
I
not.
like the banana scent.
No,
I find that very interesting.
The mule fishing bluegrass bug is an unpleasant smell. I'm sure
Yeah,
it's pleasant.
it's not.
I'm sure
Oh,
it's pleasant.
It gets wrecked.
Yeah, I'm sure it's pleasant to fish, but it is not pleasant to me.
You think they're sniffing it when it's like drifting?
I don't know, but
like,
the only one worse than that is H&H Custom Soft Plastics. I don't know what kind of crawfish shad poop
they got
he puts in there. It's what?
I don't know.
I bit
know
one off the other day, and that was a mistake.
I don't know if anyone's old enough, or I guess like Zach. Yeah, you're old enough, but like I don't know if you were there.
Depends.
Michael Bradley, yes, free rig,
100%
absolutely free rig.
Free rig.
Oh,
But,
we got a bait coming up in August that is
Yeah.
also a free rig special.
Yes.
I also really like them on Tokyo rigs, not necessarily for the glide as much, but like they stay just
the profile.
really. They move a lot because of
Yep.
that big wing
Yep.
on a Tokyo rig.
And there you
Kodiak
have it,
scent.
folks.
Anyone remember that? Kodiak?
Kodiak like chew?
No, it was an attractant using real bits of shad and crawdad in a jelly. Gross.
It sounds gross.
It was gross. But you know what's not gross? Is
Fish jelly does not sound good.
Well, let's
Jelly-
just circle
jelly-based scents are weird.
jelly. Yeah.
Yeah, let's circle.
What's up,
What's
Wendell?
up, Wendell?
What's going on, Darren?
Let's circle back around to the new business in the box.
Yes.
Yeah.
The bluegrass.
This little
bug.
guy. And
Man.
I mean, we got the guy responsible for it.
I want
right
to
here
see in the
backstage.
comments, like, what's the first thing that comes to anybody else's mind? You know,
Right.
how you want to fish that thing? Because
Is that
I
just
had-
a straight black set?
Yeah.
that is a straight black.
Yeah. I opened a pack to take a picture to make the thumbnail. So
Mine was not. My first initial thought was not weighted at all. It was, I have 1/0 to, I was thinking, what, depending on how the bait floats, I'm either going to take a hook and span the entire bait, similar to you, like how you do a horny toad with like an oversized hook, just as much as that bait as possible.
it'll
Or
float a light wire.
It
Yeah.
floats the light wire. I've had a pack of those bugs for 2 to 3 months now, because I wanted them at the spawn. I wanted to throw them on top of beds.
I was
Yeah,
so
If I could
mad.
get them to,
I forgot to take them with me when I went to the Allegheny. And with the water as low as it was, if I would have nose hooked it and let it float through riffles, I know it would have gotten crushed.
So I was doing. I explored. We had some bug hatches going on in Minnesota, and I explored rigging those things on.
It smells like rotten popcorn.
I think they were. I think they were 1/0 EWG hooks, but I was literally throwing them on the overhanging grass and just dropping them into the water, or letting it hit that grass and plop into the water.
yeah,
And I couldn't get big fish to eat it, but man, like the amount of like 15, 16 inches that would just, I had a killer shot on the lost SD card of 3 different wakes, like shark wakes.
Love the
blast
shark.
over to this thing and just explode all over this bait. Like it was one of the coolest things, and I'm bummed that I lost that card.
What do you
and
boys
lost
say
that
we
shot.
what do you boys say we bring John on here
bring John in here, huh?
Yeah.
and pick his brain a little bit?
Let's get technical. Everybody, get your notepads. John,
What's up, John?
Hey, what's going on? No notepad needed here for
Oh.
what I'm going to say.
So
simple.
real quick, if I doubt, but if any of our listeners don't know who you are, you do, take a minute or two and let everybody know who you are, Bob.
Yeah, my name is John Dalton. I got a YouTube channel I started almost over 9 years ago now called Creek Fishing Adventures. And it's crazy that I'm here talking about a lure I created. And never, something that when I started my YouTube channel when I kind of got back into creek fishing. So I've kind of really evolved over YouTube as a lot of people kind of have done. Once they start making videos, you kind of really start learning a lot more. So it's awesome to be on here talking to y'all guys.
Hell yeah, man. We're glad to have you. It's funny.
Yeah.
When I started fishing back for bass specifically back in 2001, I had a limited amount of time, and there was a creek next to my work, and that's pretty much how I got started, was tromping through that creek and catching bass. And then I found lakes, and I was like, never going back.
Yep.
Well, I missed it, and just recently we've gotten back into it within the last 4 years, and yeah, man, it's a blast. So the bluegrass bug. First of all,
let's dive into it.
Why bluegrass bug? Why the name?
All right. So I partnered with Ethan from Mule Fishing, and his brand is all about mules, kind of horses, the farm stuff, and the name. We needed a name to kind of go with that. And I'm from Kentucky. Was born in Kentucky, the bluegrass state, and also this lure we wanted to call it some kind of bug or something. And then it just grass. There's bugs in grass. I don't know. It all kind of just fit. It kind of fit with his theme, and it fit from where I started fishing in southern Kentucky. Fished a little creek behind my house. I still have so many vivid memories from like going down there day after day. When I lived there, and so that's what all kind of spurred it, and that's kind of what's that living at a house for about 3 years, a little creek behind my house, really is why I have a YouTube channel now. Is what all got me going. So.
That's awesome, man. Every single time I pick up a pack of these or pick up one of these baits, in the back of my mind, I hear.
You can read the bluegrass music too, but yeah, it's mainly because from the bluegrass state, Kentucky. But you can whatever you want it to be.
So, John, what's your favorite preferred method to fish this bug?
So for me, it's usually just a weedless Ned rig jig head. This is a Z-Man size 1 hook, 1/16, 1/10 ounce. What I've learned and like seen a lot is just so many fish eat bugs, and I like live in the creek. I'm like in the creeks today. I was waiting for 4 hours in a little creek, and it's 2 foot deep at the most. It's super clear water. I just observe and watch. I've just learned and watched so much, and I just really enjoy that. And like anything that comes into a little pool, they just eat it. Especially a little bug or something. And I've used the Helgramites a lot. Once I started using those, I kind of learned how to drift them into current and how to get that fish current and fish a little bit deeper where there's fish down there I never knew were down there, hiding in places that I didn't know were hiding in. And then, for whenever Ethan asked me about creating a lure, I had this idea of this little lure for 3 years ago, and I was like, I've always noticed the simplest things catch the most fish. Seems like I didn't want anything too crazy, and then
that was kind of the allure to me when I first saw it. Was like I think we've all heard about the studies of the pincherless crawdad, and I was like, that reminds me of that. And I initially thought of just drifting it down riffles and letting it tumble in the pool, and because I've caught a lot of big fish doing that, I've caught just a lot of fish doing that, and then like as I played around with it in I think February time frame, I was like, ooh. I'm impressed with the versatility that I could get out, because I couldn't go fish a bug in February when it was 7 degrees in Ohio. So I was like in my basement with a tub of water, just playing around with rigging.
Yeah, we actually had pretty good ice this past year.
Did.
I fish so much clear water, and I've noticed that in clear water, a lure that does nothing, that just falls, those fish they'll see it from 25, 35 feet away sometimes. And I've watched fish. I'll be looking at a fish over here, come over here to my lure, look at it, and then pick it up off the bottom. And they love to eat stuff off the bottom all the time.
Yeah.
And I've seen so many times where I've let that fish, that little lure, either like a hellgrammite or this lure or something, some kind of creature bait, just sit there and let that fish just pick it up. Maybe you have to wait 4 or 5 extra seconds. And that's what I call it a do nothing lure a lot of times. You just throw it out there and do nothing. If you try to add action, sometimes it hinders the bite. They'd rather just be sinking or drifting. It just looks like something like, okay, it looks normal. I'll just go eat it. And they eat it real. Most times they eat through like that so soft. Like you don't even know they're on there.
They do it on top water bites too. Like I'll take that. Like I got back into fishing when I got out of the service, and I always kind of wanted to learn how to fly fish, and that's what I drifted a lot of topwaters on like cut banks and stuff like that for trout, smallmouth, and things like that. And I do that with a 7.5 foot spinning rod now. Like I'll throw this bug on top and just drift it along a grass line, and you can drift that thing without moving it for 30 feet, and fish will just swim out and just sip it in. And it's kind of cool that like they pick up on it, there's this thing floating by, not doing anything. Like I think we're so programmed as anglers to get something flashy with vibration that does this thing or that thing or whatever, and we just forget that a lot of times if a bug hits the water, it doesn't do much.
It's got a good silhouette. It's visible, and that's all it takes. Hey, when I started watching your stuff, I did notice, John, that you need a new paddle, and we had one of our viewers here ask if you got a new paddle yet.
So, I've had this question a bunch. So I got the whole story behind this paddle. So I got this paddle that I keep using. Both ends of it are chipped about that far from prying on rocks. So they're both chipped and broke off. And people say, go get a new paddle. I'm like, this is like a $300 paddle. I'm not going to get a new paddle.
I still got $250 left.
You already broke it in. You don't, why go through that work with a new paddle anyway?
Yeah. I'm hard on everything I use. Most time I'm just using it as like a pushing wedge and waiting or kayaking creeks and stuff. I'm just I'm like, if it breaks, it breaks, but I'm gonna use it to get to where I want to get to.
How long did it take you guys to nail down the bluegrass bug?
I think it took a year from when we first talked about it to when it came out. So we didn't do any reiterations. We kind of just made a prototype, sent it in, and came back. And it's actually bigger than I thought it was going to be. I actually wanted it smaller in my mind, but I love the size it turned out to be.
I think it's perfect.
The things I like, the design is basically, I had that like drawn out, years ago, and I was like, this is all I want. I don't want nothing else. And I've already had people who are like, you should add little this, do this. I'm like, no, I don't need. You don't need nothing else. And that's the thing. It's like a lot of times when you're selling to fishermen, you gotta, I don't know if y'all are ICAST. I've been watching ICAST videos, and hey, this looks amazing. This looks amazing. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool, but it'll catch a fisherman, but does it, how well does it do fishing? But yeah, that's the simple. So like we, Ethan, like he kind of tweaked the eyes and did some stuff, and we just got it. We picked the size, went with it. We wanted it thick. I wanted it to be like a thicker bait, not like a lot of the baits like that are real thin. And I wanted something thicker that you can get a good hook into several times over and over again.
Right.
And they turned out, and when I saw it, I was like, well, it's a little bigger than I thought. But the more I've used it, the more I've liked it. And we thought about making a real smaller one maybe later on.
I think like a little bluegrass bug junior would be pretty cool. One of my favorite ways to throw the bug is something that I just recently figured out I can do. And that was purely because of impatience. I was trying to throw it weightless on top of the water, and I was just trying to get the action right on that quiver, just trying to get the legs to just make it look like a bug that was stuck in the water, but kind of keep it in the same spot. So what I've been doing is like just kind of half slack line on a spinning rod, shaking my rod in my hand like this real fast, just really, really fast like that. When you shake it like that, the reel handle starts to turn every shake, but it's very slow, but it keeps that bug going like 1 foot per minute. Like, I mean, it's just sitting
they call
there.
that the Columbus shake.
Yeah, and you come on up to Columbus, I'll show you why.
The Chitwood Cha-Cha.
You've got to be the
Cha-Cha.
Chitwood Cha-Cha. You've got to be strong to embrace this kind of shape, John. But no, it works, and I've gotten it's almost scary. I've missed more fish than I've caught doing it because you'll be sitting there so hyper focused on getting this bait to shimmy, do the Ohio shimmy, as Dave says, in the same spot, and like they are very aggressive on it. It hasn't been much of a slurp as much as it's been like a straight up explosion, and you're just like, oh my god. And it's so weird because like when you're fishing topwater or you're fishing like something aggressive, you know, like a power fishing technique, you're expecting that aggressive bite.
Yeah.
And you're like a lot of times when you're throwing something real subtle, real quiet, real stealthy, you're not expecting poosh, and it's just, you know, everything is peaceful and tranquil until then, and then you kind of poop yourself. But that's one way I've been trying to not only speed up my metabolism, but effectively fish this bluegrass bug is, I guess, the Chitwood Cha-Cha is what we're going to call it now.
I think we can coin the Chitwood Cha-Cha.
We might have to make a TikTok about it.
Scott's in here from Bass Dope Lures, also a part of the July box.
Good to know. Good to know.
Tweaking. He just said straight up tweaking. Scott.
Yeah, Scott needs to come out with a bait called the Tweaker.
He does. Yeah.
He
When's
probably
it coming?
has one.
And
Hold
will
on.
you release it with us, Bass Dope? We want you, buddy. Yeah. So I don't know, John. Why don't you give us some creek tips? This we entitled this video, at least on one of the platforms. It's the skinny on river and creek fishing.
Get it?
Yeah. Anyway.
Hey.
I almost named my channel Skinny Waters Adventures or Skinny Waters Outdoors, but I didn't know if enough people would know what that is. But,
Creek fishing is a way to own it, though. Like you kind of just like, sorry guys, I've coined an entire market.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, hey,
you're
listen.
not creek fishing adventures.
I'll tell you this: if rivers intimidate you, go spend some time in a creek, and you'll learn everything you need to know in the creek.
Yeah.
To take to
Yeah.
the river,
It's
because it's literally just a little bigger, but all the same current
like,
stuff matters.
Farm pond is to lake what creek is to river. Like this, yeah.
Oh, I miss creeks, man.
Yeah.
I need to find some places.
I do a lot of. I'm not really. I don't even consider myself like a bass fisherman. Like I met Ryan, you know, doing the tournaments, and I go up there and I try to fish. But like the only tournament I've done good in the kayak adventure is the Shoalipalooza, because we're like waiting and it's like creek fishing. It was, you know, and I can figure this out. Like I can do this. And when we get to bigger rivers and stuff, most time I just don't put in the work to go, find them and pre-fish. And I just go fish whatever. But like for me, I love like pan fishing with ultralight. I've gotten into BFS a lot recently, but like I'll go out there with a little trout magnet, and there's such a diversity, and that's like I feel like everybody needs to like at least have an ultralight rod, that like 4-pound line, maybe 2-pound line, and throw a little 164-ounce jig head, and just go fish it and just observe how many fish there are in some of these creeks that you might not even think there's fish in there. That's the ones you go fish. And that's for me, like, this is what I hear back. I know this isn't bass fishing, but
That's okay.
I hear back from some people like, dude, I used to drive over this creek every day. I finally went down there and fished it. I caught 25 fish in an hour, or you know, a little stonefish or whatever. It's just like a micro. The smaller the creek, it's like a little micro, you know, whatever it's called. But like
ecosystem.
But they're packed in there, so you can fish the whole stretch from one area. So you get to see the fish in the current, the fish in the back, these fish over here. And then what's fun about that is they all fight for the same food. And that's where like people say, you go to a creek, you don't know what you're going to catch, because they all have to eat the same thing.
Yeah, they're all eating the same place.
Yep.
You can throw 5 casts and catch 5 different lures, or five casts and 5 different fish species. And that's what really like drew me. Well, actually, when I started my channel, there was nobody that fished creeks. That's why I named Creek Fish Adventures. I searched for 6 months looking for creek videos because that's what I wanted to learn about when YouTube was kind of getting going and people were making fishing videos. I'm like, I want to watch creek stuff because I want to learn more about these little species. No, there was nobody. I mean, I couldn't find a single person. And whenever they did make a video, it would be like, oh, we're going creek fishing. This is not real fishing. I'm like, no, that is real fishing.
That is real fishing.
So
all fishing is real fishing.
So now if you go look up creek fishing videos, there's like 1,000 channels out there.
The first one I ever saw, because I did the same thing. You get on YouTube. I was gonna hit a creek that I saw near a job site, and I was like, I wonder what people are throwing in creeks. And the box I had packed, it was like, just a pop R, a couple shaky heads. Like I didn't really know. This is before the Ned rig craze. It was a John B video, and he might have been 16. Like he was a kid, and he's like not really YouTuber John B, like getting into YouTube John B. He's like, hey, I'm in my parents' backyard and I have a popper. And I'm like, you know what? Popper it is, because I'm watching this guy fish a stretch of creek that's about the same size as the stretch of creek I'm going to go fish. He's throwing a popper. Screw it. I'm going to go throw a popper. And that kind of stuff works because, like you said, even if you're throwing a bass fishing bait and in the stretch of water, that popper might be a big bait to those fish. They still got to eat it because they're all competing. So I'm sitting there catching like 10-inch creek chubs and, like shiners and stuff. And they're blowing up on this popper and they're about this big. And I'm like, this is insane. Like this is this, like you said, the ecosystem is crazy because you really don't know what you're going to catch. You're going to target, like I'm going to target bass. That's what I do. But I'm not always going to catch bass because, like you said, they're all in a very competitive food market, and they're all just eating the same stuff. So you're going to have fish with mouths on the bottom of their head grabbing a top level, which is just really cool.
I like the thing you said about the actual skinny water, and it's one of the things I was thinking about when I entitled this. I just went and did a float with Ryan Van Tyne in Creek X in Northwest Pennsylvania, and literally almost all of the fish came out of water that couldn't have been more than 6 inches.
You were fishing some shallow water, and I like that.
They are just like, and they're just in there, and it's
like
crazy
that.
because you can't see them. You can't see them. And you feel like you're like an idiot, like casting. Basically, I had to tell myself that I was casting to the shadows that the trees were making. And because casting the water that shallow was not making sense to me, and I wasn't feeling very good about it. But then I started casting at the shadows that the trees were making and forgot about how the depth of the water.
Because you couldn't see that it was 6 inches deep.
We just started plowing them, like just plowing them. Yeah, that's wild, man.
A couple of years ago, I took a year off of tournaments and stuff, and my son and I put him in like the kid carrier backpack, and I'd just take a little 4.5 foot like ultralight, and I would just walk creeks with him, and it was just something like because he would get a kick out of it, like Dad's catching fish and stuff, but. I got into like just fishing small stuff because it kept it entertaining for him. But what? And we'd pack a lunch and we eat.
Dude, those backpacks are the best.
Yes, they are.
I love those, dude.
What I really like, I've learned a lot fishing creeks, bigger creeks and rivers and things like that. But what I learned fishing these really little ones was like when we'd sit and eat lunch, when you kind of just hang out for a while around a pool. Those fish just start doing what they do. And you can sit there and observe how all these fish use the different areas of the pool and just observing that, watching how they just work it, use it, what spots they use to feed, which spots they use to rest, and things like that. Like I took that and I went back to my bigger creeks and my rivers, and I was like, oh, if they're eating today, they're here. And it all applies. It's just enlarged, right? Like So, like, for all the guys that just jump in their bass boat and go race out to the lake or just get on the biggest rivers that you can, like, there's a lot of merit to fishing the farm pond, fishing the little creek, because there's so much to learn. Like, you can learn a lot more about how fish use that environment in these little condensed ecosystems.
I do have
like big stuff.
I do have one word of warning. I have been fishing a creek that's about 15 minutes from my house, about 10 minutes outside of downtown Pittsburgh. I affectionately named it Poop Creek because it's got a smell. And
It smell like
it smells like orange and cloves.
bergamot.
And I did some the other day out of nowhere, just decided to do a little bit of research on it. It is literally the most it's the top 3 polluted watersheds in Pennsylvania. So and one night I was taking my contact out. I was fishing in the creek that day, and I was taking my contact out later that night, and actually infected my eye. Was it because of Poop Creek? I don't know, but if your creek runs through a post-apocalyptic industrial war zone, then just maybe suit up a little bit. Wash it.
If I was a betting man.
Oh, that's great, man. No, but it's what we've all been talking about. It's the little water that's close to you that you can stop at on the way, to a job, or on the way home from dropping your kid off wherever or whatever. And that's one thing I really like about the stuff I see you do, John, is sometimes you're literally just, you're just hand planting over a guardrail and hopping in and going.
I wish I lived in bigger towns sometimes, because like the creeks that run through town, they're like they force all the water through there, and a lot of times there's like concrete stuff, but you can find like these deep holes. If you find a deep hole, there's fish there. Yep. And then a lot of times there's nobody going through there. I fished a couple of like some urban, like bigger urban towns, and I got one of my best creeks I got in Chattanooga. It's in between a couple businesses, and I hop in there and I walk about a half mile, and every time I catch just a ton of fish, and like nobody's going in there.
No, it's absolute. So we have the creeks around here. They like every 15 feet, it seems there's a sign that says Alcazan, and what that means is that there's storm runoff coming out of there. But that's why we call that one Poop Creek. I just, be careful.
Dude, what's crazy is like if you've experienced it, so those creeks that if you were not fishing it, you'd go there and be like, there's no way fish could live in here.
Right.
And and if you ever seen a storm, when it does rain and it just floods, turns brown, black, there's everything flowing through it. And a lot of times those creeks go back down fast because of the runoff, and you can go right back to catching fish. It is crazy. Those fish they just live and they just keep going on.
Now, you have a lot of elevation where you live, right? You got a lot of hills and stuff like that. I think that it might be the same here where I am in southwestern PA. Like, man, they clean up quick. Yeah. That water runs in and runs the hell out.
The faster they go up, the faster they go down.
Where these guys live, man, that water it can stay brown for a week. It's all flat.
The problem is
Dave Erkey's got a question.
Ooh.
Okay. All right, here we go. We'll put it up. John, why the consistency of the plastic?
I was going to read it dramatically, actually.
I don't even know. I don't even know what he's asking about. Like what it's made out of?
So it's not. It's correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not the same exact makeup or chemistry as the rest of the mule fishing lineup soft plastics. I believe it's a little different.
Ethan would know about that. I have no idea. I don't know anything technical. I couldn't tell you anything. I just fish it.
I love that. I love that.
I am not a technical person. When people are like, especially like people are like, this reel has blah 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 blah. I'm like, I don't. To me,
I know everything in the like. This is the what is this? This is a mule minnow. Everything is an elastomer in the mule lineup because little fish pick appendages off. And I can't speak for Ethan, but that's my guess is why.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know they're all made out of that or like that.
Buoyancy is important with this bait as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't do the float trick.
You couldn't do the float trick.
I love the float trick, man. It's so much fun. It's so and what you were just talking about, simple, John.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally so simple. Like it blows your mind. Like
but John has taught me a lesson. It's hard to do that. And
you listened and everything?
I did because look, man, usually a lot of times we deal with bass fishermen, so like you can understand. It's a joy. But I like outside perspectives, different opinions, and just the explanation of the simplicity. Like I know what a trout magnet is, and a trout magnet's one of the stupidest looking baits of all time.
Oh, yeah.
It is a wedge-shaped lead head that's really shiny that you put the rear end. It is a whole bait, but it looks like the rear end of a finesse worm. And you just you put this little worm that's this big on a little hook that's even smaller. And I went to Gatlinburg once with my family, and I was so bored of just that teenage angst, like just the festivities and we've got to have tea time at 2, and then we've got to do this, and I'm like, I'm gonna
tea time in Gatlinburg.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm making stuff up at this point, but no, seriously, they have we got to do it as a family, and I'm like looking out the motel window, and I see this creek going down the way, and I'm like, I've got an idea, so I just kind of left, and there was a fly shop right there, and I had like $60 that I had saved. Went down there, told the guy, I'm like, I'm here from Ohio. I want an ultralight setup. That is, back then you could get an ultralight setup for $25. It'd just be a Shakespeare, complete combo, pre-spooled 4-pound test line. Grabbed a Shakespeare combo, grabbed a trout magnet. That was my first trout magnet experience, and wore fish out, like you said, that's what's making sense. The ecosystem is so competitive because all these fish live together. They're all kind of forage fish in the first place. They're all stuff that predators will eat, but they are all kind of the respective apex predator of their ecosystem when there is no smallmouth or when there is no bigger predatory fish. And there could be smallmouth living amongst them. It's just the ecosystem balances out, and it's like, hey, there's more bugs than there is bait fish. Let's eat the bugs.
We got a question from the wolf here with a request. I'm going to do my best. John, what are your top 3 favorite ways to fish the bluegrass buck?
It's pretty good.
I don't know if I have 3. I think I have 2.
Okay, go ahead.
All right.
Boom! Put him backstage. Kick him off.
Dave should know I'm not some kind of
He's taking over.
Wrangler, but you can't go wrong with the Ned Rig weedless, and I emphasize weedless because a lot of people will throw a Ned Rig, with the hook exposed or whatever it's called. Yep. And I hate that, which I used to fish that all the time, but now I can't stand that. And I'm like, why would anybody do this? Because you're going to get snagged in so many places. And the beauty of a creature bait, huggermite, bluegrass bug, that's why one of the reasons I wanted the bluegrass bug the way it is, I want to throw it into current and let it tumble. I want to throw it into a little pocket, let it sit on the bottom. Throw it into a bush, and with it weedless and that thick body, you can get the hook in there and kind of, Texpose it or whatever, and just let something pick it up off the bottom. And in current and in clear little pockets and stuff, just let that fish find it. And I love to just leave slack line, let the lure tumble, and then I'll just kind of pick up, see if there's any resistance, or let it fall somewhere and just kind of pick up, the line. All right, is there anything on there? A lot of times it'll be just a barely little tug, or they'll just stop it in current. That's what I love when they're in current and they're just drifting through, and it's like, is that a rock or a fish? That's a fish.
Oh, I love that.
And you got to have a light enough jig head to let it bounce around, and that's where I like a real light. I like 1/10 is the heaviest I use in anything. I don't have anything heavier.
It's
1/16 or less.
It's an art figuring out like once you get it, like what weight for what degree of flow? Because I'll go like if I'm in like ripping water, I'll throw all the way up to a quarter, and I'll do this. But usually I'm around a 16th or an eighth. Like that's like where I lean the most.
So your first favorite way was on a weedless Ned?
Yeah.
And inquiring minds want to know, what was number 2?
Ryan actually had told me about this in the winter, and I had the idea, but I hadn't used it. But I've done it a few times now, where I just took like a wacky rig hook, and I think Ryan, you were showing me something, but this gave me the idea. I was like, I'm just gonna stick a wacky rig hook in it, and I'm gonna throw it out and just skip it across. And I took it to the river the other day and caught 4 or 5 like that.
Nice.
I will.
It was really fun.
So what I figured out was I would take a number 8. I was using a number 8 BKK treble, and I was hand dressing it, so I could get it like just smaller feathers and just really natural looking. And I was running the line through the center of the bait, tying off to the treble, and then sliding that up into it. So those feathers sits it just down in the water, like back end, and those feathers just kind of do the feathery thing.
Ryan's one of our most favorite psychopaths.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because if you give him the floor, he'll tell you this for about 30 more minutes and he won't do a single step.
That's about the only 2 ways. I don't drop shot. I never really drop shot. I know it works, but it's something I never really do. And I don't know. I'm very basic on how I fish most of the time. It's more about learning. For me, I've learned like where fish are for the most part, and in a couple of ways how to get it in front of fish and stuff.
I see
like that guy, that like local legend, who's like, yep, I just throw the bluegrass bug on 2 different ways, and it's like no drop shots, no crankbaits, no chatterbaits, no spinner baits, no. And he's just like
no chitwood cha-cha.
He's like you just said. He's like, I just figure out where they're at.
I've seen you throwing a buzz bait a few times out there. I have a question for you. Have you ever tried the Wee Whacker?
No, but I got them pulled up on Tackle Warehouse right here.
Well, you don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna throw one in that box. I'm putting in the mail for you tomorrow.
Oh, all right. Awesome. I'll definitely use it. I've been evolving and trying new things, but I'm like, I drag my feet on new stuff that comes out. I'm like, it takes me forever.
Oh, dude.
It is. It's like,
dude, me too. Absolutely. So I was pro staff for Dark Horse Tackle for almost 2 years before I bought half the company. And I had like this stack of boxes, and like once a month I'd be like, all right, this one can come with me.
I'm putting the frog down. I'm putting the frog down today.
Well, hey, if it's working, it's working, right?
Yeah.
I will say there is a little secret pairing in that box. It's not really a secret, but the Bass Oak Pillhead and the Bluegrass Bug make a killer little Ned jig.
Let's see. I'm gonna put it together.
It's so cool that y'all are doing a creek and river kit. I love that, and it looks amazing too. So I think a lot of people just overlook it. But Ryan, like you know river stuff, like just downsizing a little bit really can help. And sometimes it's full size things still work, but just getting those right lures to kind of fish them.
Ryan, you chunking that on there, or you threading it on the whole way?
Thread it on the whole way.
Okay.
Yeah. Thread it on the whole way. You just want this little nugget.
Little nugget.
Well, that's like when I put together that box, it was, I tried to get overlooked, food sources like the Mad Toms and the bug, like terrestrials and just all sorts of stuff that people just completely overlook all the time. But, if you look at one end of that spectrum is that swim jig with a 5.5-inch swim bait, and the other end is the bluegrass bug. Like all of this will catch fish in your river, and honestly the big bait will catch small fish and the little bait will catch big fish. Like it's not there's no middle ground, like everything will eat these things because of the competitive nature and just the habitat that they live in. They can't decide like, I'm going to pass up that meal today because it's never going to come back. It's floating down the river.
It is a little nugget, isn't it?
It is.
You trimming that skirt a little bit for that?
I do. I take about 1/4 to a 1/2 inch off the skirt when I do that one.
Just to show a little bit of that fanny, huh?
Mm-hmm. That's
Just
it.
a little bit.
Because once it
I like
flares, you get the whole thing. But if you wanted to bulk up your bug and add some appendages, that's one way to do it. And the other way is with that dress treble.
I like it. And the hook keeper on the hook keeper on the pillhead is elastomer friendly.
Good.
Because there are some styles that are not elastomer friendly, and that one definitely is. No, I've had a blast fishing this stuff. I will be honest with you, the 5.5-inch swim bait on the swim jig scares me.
Really?
It does. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
See, here's the beauty. Back in the day, I'm a washed up bass tournament junkie, and
I'm gonna put it together right now.
when I started fishing smaller bodies of water more consistently, it taught me to downsize. It taught me a lot more patience. It taught me, the way I see throwing into a current is the same way that I see fishing contour on deep ledges. You're just kind of letting it go. And learning how to do both with big baits and small baits was huge for me. And it ultimately made me more successful when I would fish, spend $250 to make $100 back. And just having the confidence in those small baits. I was never a big bait catch big fish guy because that's just a lie. But learning how to calm it down and understand, where your bait is at and how your bait is operating in the water, that was huge. But shoe on the other foot, with that big bait, you put yourself in a body of water where this is a piece of forage that they would eat, but it's also not a piece of forage they get to see very often. And they're like, oh, the big meal's here today. It's time to eat, fellas. And it could be electric. What are we looking at?
Look at that gaff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, there's a reason for this particular swim jig.
John,
Look at
is
that.
that scary for a guy like you?
Look at that gaff.
It would have been a couple of years ago, but that is something I have learned starting like last year. And like I said, it takes me for a while to kind of try things. But once I started throwing like the 6-inch mag draft and some lures, and I realized that I'm catching 15 and 16-inch fish, largemouth, smallmouth. Yep. But there's sometimes, and I've seen it over in my mind, even in some smaller creeks. Like here's an example. There's some little creeks that I fish that if I throw a trout magnet or a little Bobby Garland, the bass that are 8 to 12 inches long, they will not hit it. We won't catch them. But if you go to a 3-inch swim bait, they crush it. And it's so funny because there's a couple creeks that every time I do go there, I can either catch sunfish or I can go for bass. And there'll be like some 12 and 13 inches, and they're fat little bass. They're in there eating. So they're eating like pretty good meals, whatever they're eating. But like you just upsize, and all of a sudden, boom, it's the bass. But I've started noticing that in some of the small rivers, creeks, where a little bigger, and it gets those little bit bigger fish to show themselves sometimes, where I never knew they were there before. And it's like, oh, okay. So there's probably more holes like this that I didn't know a big fish was in. And 5-6-inch swim bait is getting them to come out. I don't fish it all the time, but it does really I really have learned a lot.
That's something that I take into a lot of like tournament practice with me is I will throw big baits almost exclusively in practice. One, I get to learn if the fish are actually eating them, but two, it's just the drawing power because I can
show themselves
and I can get them I can get them to show themselves without putting a hook in their face, and then I can come back with a little jig or something real finessey because I know, okay, now they're here, and now I have the confidence to know that they're here. If they didn't want to eat that big stuff, now I can present them these little meals that they're not going to think twice about.
So John, what is the you get to take 3 baits with you going creek fishing? What are you taking?
Am I trying to catch bass or am I just going creek fishing?
Just going creek fishing.
If I'm just going fishing, I love to have, if it's, say right now in summer, I'm going to take a little Bobby Garland on like a 1/32 ounce jig head. And just, man, you can catch so many fish with that. It's just fun. I like to catch everything. So I like to just be able to catch it all. So I'll take that. And I'm usually going to take something like, I'm probably going to take the bluegrass bug, something that'll just catch. I can fish it at a bunch of different levels, hit a lot of holes, hit a little places. And then, the last one, either some kind of, I love a spinnerbait or like a rebel crawl, something that's moving through there. Because right now everything's real active. I just fished today, and everything's compared to like in the thing of the creeks. If you're going to the creeks, like if I go in the wintertime, or even my rivers, if I go in the river, towards winter, it's totally different what I'm taking. Because I can take the bluegrass bug, I guess, but I have to fish super slow. They're like sitting on the bottom and don't want to move. Right now with them real active, I like to try to use the topwater lure every once in a while, but today I couldn't get them to hit the topwater, but they were crushing a little teeny rebel crawl. I was catching like 8 to 12 inch smaller. And they would hammer that, and I couldn't get them to hit the topwater little thing. So.
We had a bait in our first ever anniversary river and creek box. That would have been 22, Josh?
23.
22, I think.
23.
23? Anyways, 23. And it was what was it? It was a
Griffin SRX. It wasn't the bait finesse Griffin, but it was just the regular shallow running
little crankbait about what, inch and a half?
It did not touch 2. It was like 1 7/8 inches.
Yeah, dude, that was a blast.
But that thing, like, it would get down from like 4 to 6 feet, and when you could, the best thing about it is
I know we were in 2 foot of water and I ground rocks all day.
It would roll around everything. Like most of our action that day was the bait going sideways, but that's because it was just deflecting off of it. But it was a really, really, really good little crankbait.
So, John, if I change the question and say yes, you are bass fishing, how does that change your answer?
I'm really going to upsize everything, and instead of taking I'll probably take a casting rod, and that's the thing. When I go fishing, I take one fishing pole, and I base everything what I'm going to throw around that rod. So I don't take taking multiple rods. I want to be able to take one rod, and I'll base my lures on what that is. So if I'm gonna take a casting rod, probably a good size. Let's see here, a spinnerbait. I'm still gonna throw that. I love having a spinnerbait. You can just do so much with it.
I've heard you throw a War Eagle now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should give the HH custom stuff a try, John. The little micro bladed jigs. They're like little 1/0 hook things, and they're fun.
I'm gonna just to say thank you. I'm gonna send you the river and creek box, but I'm gonna put together a little care package for you. Just some fun stuff. You let us know what you think.
I'll probably throw a spinnerbait, some kind of plopping bait, and then a 4-inch yumdinger. That's one of my other bass lures.
Because stick baits are cheat codes.
And it just catches fish.
Yes,
they're cheat codes. It's a cheat code. Up, down, left, right.
4 inch.
Hang on. Stick worm.
Stick worm, not stick bait.
Stick bait.
Not a stick bait. A stick bait is on top.
Stick baits go this.
Yes, they walk.
Yep.
There might be one in the August box.
So that's a previous episode, John. You missed that.
Might look like a vixen.
Side trail.
Might be one of the number 1 selling top waters of all time, but
might be, but that's August. We're in July.
Yeah, we're in the present.
Which, by the way, I would like to let everybody know, as of Monday, every single July sub box has shipped. We had just a tiny delay from one of the bait companies getting to us. It was definitely not Stoneman or Bass Dope or Big Joshy or Interceptor or Mule Fishing. I'm
gonna buy or find a guy who makes Bobby Garlands, and I'm going to take them out next spawn, and I'm going to freaking drop shot these things because I know they'd be killer.
Listen, man, every single angler I've ever met in Pennsylvania that isn't a bass brat
Loves Bobby Garland.
has told me to throw the P-Cola.
P-Cola.
P-Cola. That's the thing. That's the hunk of metal. It's the hunk of burning love.
That's not even close to a Bobby Garland.
No, but it made me think of that because I don't know. I want to put out a multi-species box. I want to put out a panfish box.
It's
just
a
single purchase.
We need people like John, and hey John, give us a list, and then we go find it.
I'm telling you, So in case you didn't know, this is the home of the Bass Brat. That's what we do. We go catch bass. But like in reality, like bass fishermen are only like people that specifically target bass. They're like, I don't even think they're 10% of the anglers in America.
Yeah, it's crazy. That I work with Pradco, and they own Bobby Garland and all those, and it's crazy. When I hear the feedback, all the lures that I'm selling, it's all these little lures, all these different things. Because most people just want to go catch fish. The majority of people that fish are really there's a ton of bank hanging. There's the only fish bank, and when they have time, and that's the guys going to Walmart, going Bass Pro. And they just want a lure that just works. Yep. They just want to catch something,
right? And I want
so easy
I want their money.
We caught up in $25 lures where they're not even thinking about that. But that's what's cool about fishing. There's so many ways to do it. There's different ways to have fun, and there's people out there that enjoy all kinds of it too.
So when I was fishing creeks, back when I first started, before I got lake lust. I started on the Gets It. Do you ever spend time throwing tubes?
Me? No.
Really? That's nuts.
Everybody says to throw them, but I just never did it.
Now you just made us mad, John. We're upset.
This is the second time you're going backstage. This is the second time. The only trout I ever caught in my entire life, I accidentally caught on a Gets It. He was pretty. He was a rainbow trout. But
that's why I've been, like I said, the blue gusberg or a Helgermite lure. You throw that anywhere, you're catching in a river. If there's trout there, they're hitting that too.
Just you're catching whatever, huh?
Yep,
they're hitting it.
Yeah.
A quick question, Zach, up your way. So I'm down here. I'm basically at the end of the Appalachian Mountains.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at the border of Tennessee. And I can see the hills, so we have such a variety of creeks. But once it hits like cool winter, anything coming out of the mountains, I cannot catch a fish out of them. You'd think everything in that river was dead. Have you ever experienced anything like that, or do you look at your stuff around there?
All right, I don't even know if it's cool to say this, but yes. And what I would do on my breaks and before and after work and all that stuff, when I was working at that one fab shop that was next to Pine Creek, I would go take a musky sized inline spinner, like a Meps or something, and go to the mouth of the creek right on the Allegheny River, and I just slow roll it, and I never meant to do it, but I was just slow rolling it, and then oh my god, I just started slamming carp. Unfortunately, I never caught one of them in the mouth. But it was a lot of fun.
Hey man,
because they were big. But no, to answer your question, no, I no matter what I did, if that water wasn't frozen, no, when it gets super freaking cold, no, there was nothing I could do. I tried a lot. I threw a lot. Like Pine Creek is actually paved with my money and my baits.
There's There's a bait in that box that might be one of my favorite winter baits.
Okay, and spill it, Ryan. Give it up.
Pick one. Guess.
Pick one.
Yeah, I want you to guess. I'll tell you.
I'm
one
gonna
right
guess.
now.
I'm gonna guess it's a jig
Yeah, it's got to be the jig.
or the goby.
Oh, the goby. Goby on a
Flat on the
jig or
bottom.
goby on a jig?
This is when I go back to the I throw it on the perfected ball head, just poop right down on the bottom. And I just let it sit. And it's one of those things where you do Josh's thing where you just move it a foot a minute if that might even be fast.
Right.
But everything it just goes belly down in the mud. Just it hugs tight to the bottom. So one, you got to have something down there. But the way that little fantail, that flat little tail just catches water, it'll just lift off the bottom and fall back down. And I mean, it's so minimal.
It's probably doing exactly what the fish that it's replicating is doing, which is just
cold,
standing still as best it can to try to conserve energy.
Yep.
when it gets cold, man, there's two ways you got to do it. It's either less is more, or it's everything is more.
Everything is, yeah.
And like Zach and I have experienced that both of those instances in literally the same day, where I'm throwing like a hover rig that's like 1/32 of an ounce, and I'm throwing a 2-inch bait that's just going like this. And then an hour later, we've got fish busting on top, but it's 40 degrees.
You remember me catching the cigarette fish?
Yes.
We couldn't catch a fish. So I took a little fluke, like a 4-inch fluke, weightless on a 2-aught hook or something. And I'd cast it out. I'd put the rod between my legs and light a cigarette. And just wait.
And sometimes that's what you got to do.
That's I'm like,
it worked.
Dead sticking something on the bottom, or I'm like, give me my 8-to-1. I'm gonna speed crank in the middle of January
now,
and just blast something around down there.
Completely opposite of what you were talking about, John. And you can let me know if you've experienced this. In the summertime, when the heat's up, there isn't water too fast.
Oh yeah.
There isn't, and sometimes your best catches are going to come in the fastest water.
Yeah, that was I was thinking earlier. Y'all were talking is as far as tips when you're especially in the summertime, when you're fishing these creeks, cast everywhere. I mean everywhere, because it's crazy. Now I've gotten used to it, but I think I put a video out a couple days ago where there's a creek that it's an hour from my house. And I only fish it in July, August is basically, because it's other than that, when as soon as that temperature gets cold, that creek gets so cold, and it's a super clear rocky creek, and I'll never see a fish there. I'll fish for 2 hours and not get a bite. But I just went the other day. I'm like, all right, it's finally hot. They're going to be crushing topwater, and there was this little runs, like a little waterfall runs in. I caught 3 in a row on a lure head and plopper. And there was like 6 or 7 more fish I saw down in there in that current. It was just like in the fastest part of that current, and they were coming up and hitting. Anything else I never got a bite out of. They were sitting in there. They get fired up.
I didn't I don't know. I guess it just didn't make sense to me until one of our buddies, Live Rough Die Tough. He's got a clothing company. We did that was the what? 24? 24? That was our 24 river and creek box. And he actually took us on a wet wade on the Shenandoah River.
That was a fast one, man.
And that thing is cooking, boy.
Everything is just cranking down there.
There's no slow. It's always cooking no matter what. And like you're seeing like foam, like whitewater foam, like class 2, class 3 rapids, like shit, like it's moving. And, dude, the fish are there. They're sitting right in that stuff. Like they're just right in there. And it's crazy. And I wasn't like, I guess I was cast into the wrong spots or whatever. And finally I just, exactly what you just said, John. I just like, you know what? I'm just going to start casting everywhere.
Yep.
And I noticed that's where I was catching them. like
What's,
in
Right.
the fast, like as fast
Yeah.
as fast could be.
what's
Tons
crazy
of
is-
oxygen.
Yeah. But I mean, if you think about it, I mean, there's several reasons, but obviously they're there to eat too. They're like, that's where everything else is running around. But what I've learned the last few years is like for around me, and it's there's rivers that are usually like gravel rivers for the most part, where you can see where a deep hole is, then there's like shoal, then a deep hole. In that fast deep holes, where in the I'll start like maybe the end of February, but like March and April, I'll start fishing that fast moving current, and they're in there eating, where it's still cold out, it's still cool, like it's almost too cold to wet wade, but like a lot of times I'll either waders or wet wade, and it'll be 50, 45, 50 degrees out there, and they're in there eating. I've done this in Missouri, in like the Ozarks area, and then around here in the gravel, and it's like, why are those fish there? They won't hit topwater at that time of the year, but they are hugging that bottom, and anything drifting down through there, they're just eating. And it's one of those things like if you don't, fishing is you have to spend time doing it and just try things. And that's for me. That was something I learned in creeks and rivers where I'm like, why would they even be in there? It's cold water still, but I guess it's pre-spawn, and they're in there eating in fast water where. And you can't see them. You might be crystal clear water, and they're just sitting on the bottom. But you get that drift right down to them. It's another one of those things. You're like, why would they be there? To me, it wouldn't make sense. You're like, you think they still be, somewhere else. But that's another way. You got to cast everywhere to figure out where they're at. Sometimes
I was like I said, I was fishing the Allegheny, it's the Allegheny. If the water is fast, the Allegheny is like gin clear. If it gets to a deeper hole, it starts to get a little bit of a green stain to it. But in that gin clear water, which is never more than a foot, it is amazing how well they will blend into what they're doing. Every once in a while, though, it's only at a certain depth. It's usually like at a foot to like 16 inches. You'll see them though, and it's crazy. Like it'll be like 3 pieces of grass that they're sitting behind. And they're just sitting behind this little tiny bit of stuff. So like, you think like, oh, there's a great big rock. There's going to be fish there. Not necessarily. It might be. It might be a little rock like this.
Yeah.
It's crazy what they use to sit behind.
The way I kind of try to explain that is like think of the console on a bass boat or the fairing on a motorcycle, right? Like. The windshield might not come up over your head, but it's deflecting it up over your head.
Yeah.
Right? So that's kind of the same principle. Like, even though that rock's the size of a golf ball, it might be big enough for a 14-inch fish to just sit behind. And
so what you're saying is aerodynamics and hydrodynamics are very similar.
Very similar.
Very
Very
similar.
Yeah.
One of these days, yeah. I've learned about aerodynamics in my truck, and if I keep something against my cab, I don't have to tie it down. But if it
goes to the back,
like the 2/3 mark,
we got problems.
Probably better tie it down.
And don't floor it.
Also, that does not apply to manual power poles. Because they will fly out of your truck while you're cruising up a steep hill in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and then many cars will run them over, and then they will put fiberglass shards into Josh's hand whenever we find it a day later, which somebody kindly put on the sidewalk for us.
How nice! Good Samaritan for you, man.
Oh, this has been real cool, man. John, I really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
Whether you say it out loud or you say it privately, I would like to know what you think about the stuff we're sending you, man.
Oh yeah, I'm excited to get it, look through it, hopefully catch some fish on it.
And I do one more time want to tell everybody that the lady angler, the woman that painted the picture for this box, her name is Cheryl Bentley. And when you get the box, there's a QR code that will take you to her site. Highly recommend You clicking on that and just giving it a look. You might find something really cool that you want to hang up above your couch or wherever. It's really cool stuff, and she's also one of our longest standing subscribers. So it was kind of cool to mesh like that. We've got one of our most favorite painters, bait painters, Mr. Graham Glander Robusto. He is one of our longest standing subscribers. So that's one of my favorite parts about Dark Horse Tackle is we keep it tight.
The people.
Yeah, we keep it tight.
I might have to bring some tours up to Pennsylvania in a couple weeks when I come up for the Kayak Adventure Series.
Oh, I was going to ask you that. You're coming?
Yeah. I'm trying to get my buddy Josh.
All right.
To try to do the team thing, but I didn't. I wanted to go to the last one, Mississippi, but I couldn't. So I'm coming to this one, and hopefully
hey man,
it'll be fun.
If you wanna come up a little beforehand and do some practice, I'll float.
Okay.
Yeah, dude.
Here's a question I got
fun.
for y'all bass fishermen fish a lot of places, and it's something that drives me crazy. I hear people say, and it's because I fished the Susky like twice, and I had 2 different tournaments of the Bassmaster or whatever. But like, you're catching fish in there. Is this a river like the Susky? Do the fish get better, or is there just more fish in there? Is why you catch a lot.
So I might have missed part of what you said there. So would you mind saying the question one more time?
So take a river like Susquehanna. People catch a lot of fish. Do the fish in there just eat better than other places, or is there just more fish in that river? I'm
going to say there's just more fish.
I think that's got to be the answer.
There's just more fish.
Well,
I actually think it's blended. I think they're just more fish and they are just more aggressive.
So there is that huge stretch around Harrisburg that does have the special regulations. There's an abundance of forage in the river, though. They have everything in the world to eat. When you enlarge the habitat, in the way that the Susquehanna is, or even the Mississippi, where we just came from, there's just that much more food.
Yeah,
it accommodates that many more fish, and they all get to grow.
There's at least
there is a special regulation and a good deal.
There's at least 3 months a year where they're pretty much left alone.
That's true.
Well, I have rivers and creeks down here by me that nobody fishes, but you'll catch like 1 fish a mile. You're just not catching anything. Yeah. And
wow.
I always talk to people. It was just a thing I wanted to bring up because y'all fish a lot of places, but I hear people all the time are like, "Oh, the fish in this river just eat real good because they're dumb," or it's like, no, there's more fish there. And it's just there. Even if it's not a good day, there's going to be some fish eating, and then on really good days, there's a lot of fish eating. So.
It goes back to, if you ask me, it goes back to the most important thing in fishing, and no matter what anybody says, the most important thing in fishing is fishing where the fish are.
Yep.
If there are more fish, then there are more good places to fish. So I just think the population is probably really good there for whatever reason. Although I have heard that there has been a little bit of a fish kill on the Susky lately. And something might be going wrong up there. And I hope it has nothing to do with the fact that they are planning on firing up 3 Mile Island again.
They are going to fire up 3 Mile Island.
Yeah.
Best I've understood it, it's like the kind of unusually high water year we've had. I can't even say spring anymore because it's just carried through
the high water was like at the end of spring.
Yeah, I know, but it's just
the beginning of spring was dry.
Yeah. But I think it was I think that's what they're attributing it to, is like agricultural, like a lot of agricultural runoff all at once instead
agricultural.
of they didn't get microdosed with the agricultural runoff. They got it like full effect.
Ryan, are you saying the stuff they used to grow our food kills living things?
What?
Certainly some of it. You can't you have to use herbicides and pesticides though, like to manage those larger fields. Like we're not doing this an hour and 20 minutes into the thing. It's not a.
It is.
Not
it
a
is.
rabbit hole.
We are running long. We are running long. Do Josh, Ryan, you guys, John, anybody got anything else more that they would like to say or theorize on or offer to the people?
John, thanks for giving us all a killer little river
thanks
bait.
for changing our perspective. I hope people were paying attention because seriously, like,
Yeah,
all three of us fish a lot, man. Like, I fish a lot, and it takes a lot to get away from the same old, hey man, stickworms are good, huh? Like, yeah, I love throwing stickworms and jigs, you know, and I'm not saying that in like a disrespectful way to any previous guest or any bit of like the fishing community, but you get a multi-species guy in there or a guy that just doesn't, target bass all the time. You get a guy that targets fish in specific ecosystems. There's a lot to be learned there.
a guy that fishes because fishing is fun.
Yes, exactly. And that's what we're trying to, fishing is for everyone. We're giving out free hugs here in the fishing world.
My challenge is it probably doesn't do anything with knowledge lures, but I like to challenge people to just go get an ultralight rod, 4-pound mono, and something lighter than 1/16 ounce, like 1/32 ounce, put a little lure on there, and just go do it and just catch whatever you can catch. Because I don't know, every time I hear some people are like, you know what, they either helped me learn something or I just had fun doing that. It's just something different. So I know a lot because I talk to a lot of bass fishermen. I'm like, I try to get them to go wade and try to get them to go fish creeks. They're like, no, I don't want to do that. Like, you'll have fun. Just go do it. Especially if you need a break on something, it's something easy to do.
Go get wet and dirty, man.
Yeah.
Stay off the fiberglass for a day or two. You'll be okay.
John, I'm sure everybody knows already, but why don't you go ahead and let everybody know where they can find you and how to follow you and all that other good stuff.
Yeah, you can just type in anywhere, Creek Fishing Adventures. I'm working on a new website. Hopefully have that up soon. And I've been making YouTube videos for 9 years. So I'm on YouTube, post them on Facebook. And I post a lot of stuff on Instagram. It's just more pictures and highlights and things about what's coming up. So, but yeah, follow me on all the platforms and like, share, do all that kind of stuff. This is what I do for a living. So I have to make videos. I try to make 2-3 videos a week of what I've been doing that week. So
isn't it incredible how difficult it is to reach your thumb over from the right side of your screen to the left side of your screen and tap the little heart button or the little thumbs up button?
I know.
It's hard.
It's hard to look at.
Hey, I have an excuse.
He stays
Anyways, thank you so much, John, for joining us tonight. Especially, I know we got a hold of you. We had the wolf howl at you.
Yeah.
Kind of late in the game, but I'm gonna have that box on its way tomorrow morning to you, and you'll have to let us know.
So do people sign up for that, or how does somebody if I wanted to go subscribe or get this, how would I get it?
You just go to darkhorsetackle.com. And this particular box, as with every one of our boxes, as long as we can still build the box, even if you're not subscribed, you can go on and purchase the box singularly. So you don't have to be subscribed to get it. We do encourage people to subscribe because we like commitment. But if you got issues with commitment, if you're a little non-committal, then you can absolutely purchase them singularly by month. We got them all listed. So this is the July box. If you see it and you like it, you can go on and say, I want the July box. Click. But darkhorsetackle.com. We got it all laid out for you.
Fully operational bait shop too. If you didn't mention that, because I just spent 1.5 to 2 minutes in the dark. So.
No, yeah. So it I like things done right. It takes me a little bit of time. But eventually all the baits that you see in the boxes do go up into our bait shop, and you can get them if you just want if you just want a pack of bugs,
Yep.
then bluegrass bugs, then you can go on and just get yourself a pack of bluegrass bugs. But guys, do me a favor, like at least order 2 packs of something, because when I see people order one thing and then pay the same amount for shipping, it hurts my heart.
You gotta spend more for the shipping cost.
It just hurts my heart. Like I feel bad. But I gotta charge it because they're charging us. But it makes me feel bad to send just one.
Yes, it does. And before we get off, what's your favorite color bluegrass bug?
Can't go wrong with the black. I mean,
man.
I helped design the creek water one, and I've used it in some clear water, but the black it gets them.
I'm really into that wildflower, but I'm too scared.
Yeah, I've got some good ones on the wildflower. I've got good ones on all of them.
We got brown.
Magic.
We got brown, rodeo clown, green pumpkin, black. Shit.
I think that's it.
Is that it? 4? We got 4 colors.
4. Yeah.
Yeah, we got the 4 colors.
Hey, you get the natural staples out of the. I mean, there is something in the
Parker
water.
picked them, not our fault.
Yep, that too. But there is something in the water that looks like that. You know, whether it be
It's true.
Whether any of those colors, anything dark, there is something with legs floating around the freaking water, getting eaten by predatory fish.
Is rodeo? I can't remember.
Rodeo
the brown
clown's
and
like
orange
plum.
one.
Or
Rodeo-
clown's
Okay,
brown.
that's what I thought. Yeah.
Rodeo
The
clown
brown
is
and orange
like
one.
a June bug
No.
body
Rodeo clown's
a
the
little-
plum.
with
It's the
like
plum.
red
So
tentacles.
the brown and orange one.
Ranch
Here's a
hand.
little. That's it. Ranch hand. Little tip with that one: if you're gonna rig it top water, rig it upside down,
Yes.
orange side up. Man, you have a perfect visual, but that real natural brown is facing down to the fish, and you can just keep your eye on it. It's hard to see that little thing.
Whoa, buddy.
So-
Whoa. That's big brain stuff.
All right. I know.
Like
We're
we gotta
late
save
in the
that. We
game.
gotta save that for Patreon, which we don't have.
Tone it down. Tone it down.
All right, John. Thank you very much. And
you.
we'll
Thank
see
you,
you,
John.
man.
All right.
Thank you, John. Have a good night.
Josh on the controls.
I'm on the controls. I got it.
My man, thank you, because I don't
Cool.
like being the controller.
Hey, is this scary?
I don't. Well, on here it is scary because I have to do it in front of people.
you say bye to him and you just keep him in like you keep him in here. Anyways,
I like controlling behind the scenes like this.
so Ryan, we don't have much time and we've gone on long.
Yeah, what do you got?
the-
You got
what's
something,
the tip?
Ryan? This is your deal. What's your tackle tip? Tell us like something about the box. Give him some juice. Let's go.
I just gave you some juice.
Yeah, I know.
There's going to be a lot more to come. Like as this gets in people's hands, and I'm going to start putting out some videos.
Yeah, I
of,
think
some
like
specific-
15% of people probably got the box today.
Yeah.
I did not.
No,
I
that's because Ohio
surprisingly
USPS. I'll reserve
It's
my
slow.
comments.
It gets all the
Buddy.
way here, and then it takes time.
Don't
to
even
get to your
start.
door.
Don't
It's
even
just what it
like
is.
I haven't shipped an order in over 6 months and I'm still mad.
I don't have that issue. They are so nice here.
Like
My postman, his name is Josh, and he is
what a guy.
a great dude. Like he has a rubber band ball, and he does what is that? Not origami. What's the knitting Japanese thing?
Crocheting?
It's crocheting, but there's a Japanese name for it. They make little animals. Anyways, whatever.
You're way too invested in this guy's life.
If Oma was, dude, he's so cool. Like he's so nice. Like we have a little conversation.
Yeah, the
if
lady
Oma
chain-
was on here, she could tell me.
The lady chain smoking cigarettes was always really pissed off to see me when I ruined her smoke break. So
I don't know, man. I think
I
you
think
said
was her
bad
whole-
things to those people.
I came in one day, and those people didn't even work there. I came in there one day with 500 packages. It was the
Look at that.
first.
Daniel
Nice.
Darrington got his today.
Dan Darrington lives a hop, skip, and a jump from you. They moved that thing to his house yesterday.
Magic
How many
bunnies.
So the first tackle talk box we ever did back in the Jason days, they happened to ship the same time as everything else, and I had like up almost 500 packages. Like my truck bed was full, and I come in, And I said, hey, I need a hopper. And they're like, well, what do you need a hopper for? And I'm like, I've got a lot of boxes that I got to ship. And they're like, how many? And I'm like 400 something. It's all prepaid. It just needs scanned in, ready to go. They're like, you don't have a scan sheet? And I was like, I do not. And they're like, can't take it. And I'm like, what do you? Yes, you can.
No,
Yes,
they
you
actually there's actually a regulation. You
They
actually
told-
you
they
actually
didn't tell me
do have to
anything
have
about
one.
regulation.
You actually do have to have a scan sheet over a certain over a
Josh
certain
is the
amount.
reason. Josh is the reason you have to have.
Yeah, they
I went-
unionized after that day.
I went like a half a mile outside of my circle of preferred post offices, and I had like 10 boxes, and the guy was like, "You got a scan sheet for that?" I was like, I'm a pilgrim in an unholy land. I'm going back to where everybody knows my name.
I'll just go home, I guess.
I grew. I'm 46, man. I'm a Cheers boy. I want to where everybody knows my name. That's what I want to do. Anyways. Enough about that. Ryan, you got anything?
Match the hatch.
The
That's it.
entire hatch.
The whole hatch.
The bugs.
The bugs.
The bait
the
fish.
fish.
If they decide to be omnivorous, put some freaking leaves in the box.
The crawl dudes. That's what my kid calls them, crawl dudes.
I thought it was crawdids. I loved crawdids. Like I want a
Crawl
T-shirt
dudes.
that says crawdids.
I say crawdiddies every now and then.
That's
but
not
that-
cool anymore.
Yep.
That's not cool.
Can't say that anymore. Thanks a lot. Country's going downhill.
I'm done. I don't have anything else.
Ryan doesn't want to tarnish his reputation anymore. He's not saying anything. He's gonna
Said
put
the
his
B
hat
word.
down. Hey, what? 2 more KAS events left?
Yep, 2 more.
The Susky,
Both in Pennsylvania.
What do they call it? It's Slamma-Jamma. That's such a Drew name.
Susky Slamma-Jamma.
Yeah, Susky Slamma-Jamma, and then Broodstock up at the upper Allegheny
Oil
in
City,
Northwest Franklin. And guys, you should come out.
Yes.
Out. It's gonna be fun.
Seriously, especially like somewhere like the Allegheny, man. Like I know the Susky has a lot. Look, I'm going to say the word. Just let me live. Susky's got a lot of hype around it.
Hype.
But the Allegheny, in retrospect, in comparison,
I think it's a
It's-
sleeper.
it's
I
a
think it's
sleeper.
going to be
Exactly.
great. Yeah.
I've
Heard
I'm
nothing
gonna
but
say,
good stuff for years.
I'm gonna say Allegheny gets more inches. I'll just say it.
I don't know.
Stir
That's
in the
that's
pot.
rough.
Somebody's just going to
That's a
smash
push.
him, huh?
That's
Good.
a
I hope
push.
somebody does.
I think
You put a whole you put a whole bunch of people that really know what they're doing on that river. You know,
it could happen.
It might surprise us. It might surprise us.
Hey, I personally, after I literally ran out of everything else, including rods, was flipping a jig, and holy crap! Like, oh my god! Like,
Yeah.
I caught a lot of really good fish just flipping a jig, and it was fun. It was fun. Martin's Nomadic XT, like that was kind of a blast. And I'm gonna take Jeff's saying there, progression of aggression.
I'll tell you this though, you weren't flipping, you were just pitching. You weren't
Whatever.
taking that line down. You weren't throwing no 7'11" rod.
I
super
wasn't
extra heavy
I
action.
wasn't scissoring. No, you're correct. Can I say? Am I allowed to say that? I don't think I'm allowed to say that. Anyways, no, but the topwater boys, the topwater bites I got they were aggressive. The microbladed jig bites I got, they were really pissed off.
Dude,
The jig bites I got, dude, they were on fire. If I would have caught,
You know what they were eating then?
yeah, they were eating craws.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I'd have caught the jig fish on my BFS rod, they would have broke it instantaneously.
if you'd have thrown a jig on that BFS rod, I'd have driven up there and spanked your butt
Hey, I throw the
with
micro.
your broken rod.
I throw
It's
the
not.
micro.
It's not that they
H&H on
won't
there.
hit top water. If they're feeding down, it's not that they won't hit top water. Like I caught buzzbait fish this past Sunday that had crawls in their throat.
But you're
Right.
pushing. You're pushing. That's not what they're after. You're
Right.
You're
Right.
doing this. You're doing this.
They're
when you
opportunistic
could just do
is what
this.
they are. And
Yep.
the second I switched to the little HH bladed jig, I wasn't fishing that through the middle of the column. I was letting that hit the bottom, and I was giving it these short little bursts a lot of times, or I was skittering it right on the bottom.
What John Dalton was talking about, tumbling.
Yeah.
I have done that quite a bit with
Love
the H&H
Mhm.
micro jigs. You get a weight just heavy enough to touch the bottom and almost bounce off of it when it touches it because the current keeps making it go like this.
Believe it or not.
And
There's
man,
Bass Dope Lures, the 1/8 ounce candy jig, Bass Dope candy jig, drifting that on BFS.
don't you worry, Scott. We're making
you
our
go.
way through your catalog. We're coming.
There you go.
We're coming.
I'll be honest, that was a very strong contender. I opted for the Pillhead over that, but it was a very strong contender.
It'll be there. Don't you worry.
We still got months to go. All right, that's it.
Let's wrap it up.
36
Wrap it
minutes.
All right.
Ryan, real quick.
Don't ask me if I have more. I always have more.
Do you have an actual defined tackle tip?
He said match the hatch.
Match the hatch. That was
the
it.
whole hatch.
Okay.
Yeah,
The whole hatch.
Full hatch.
All right.
Yeah.
Sometimes I
Cool.
listen.
We will see you all next Tuesday.
That's true. We
8
will.
o'clock
Yeah.
Eastern Standard Time in the evening.
Bye-bye.
See ya.